rebel titan, we smoking alchemist. Hip-hop is
Thought I was gone, but I'm back again. To shut a dumb nigga mouth like I'm Jeremy Lin. Realize that
What's up, fuckheads? Tommy C here. Listen, guys, this is a fuckhead call to arms. You know how Real Talk from the Metaphor Messiah supports us right here on Shop from the Point. I'm calling on you to support him. On March 16th of 2018, Kingslayer turned King by Real Talk the Metaphor Messiah. Only $6.93 on Amazon comes out and other platforms that'll be listed in the description box below. Guys, I've got this record already. It's by far his best work, and I would appreciate it if you would go pick it up as well. It comes out on March 16th, only $6.93. I'm Tommy C, and we're all here to support Real Talk, the Metaphor Messiah. Pick it up right now. You're hearing one of the best cuts off of it, and there's much, much more. Thank you very much, and I'll see you soon.
The clock keeps ticking like a metronome, and my thoughts keep telling me to get me home, but my balls keep telling me to let me just let me That clock keeps ticking like a metronome, and my thoughts keep telling me to get me home, but my balls keep telling me to let me just let me That clock keeps ticking like a metronome, and my thoughts keep telling me to get me home, but my balls keep telling me to let me fuck all that shit, just let me go.
We're broadcasting live, but I'll screw this. I want everybody to go in the description box below. I want you to find Tobes' Twitter account, and I want you to bully him. I want you to bully him, because he flaked out. This show's going to be more like a speech than it is a show, because I don't got a co-host. And he was perfect with this. Oh, I want to talk about David Hogg, blah, blah, blah. What a jerk. God, Tobes is gay. It's the truth. And I don't even mean sexually. Well, he is, but that's why we have him. The insults are already coming in. All right, I want to do this. God, fucking Tobes. What a douche. I thought this was going to be really interesting, and Jerk didn't show up. I think his Twitter's in the bottom. Bully him. Bully him. Actually bully him. Unlike the situation with this this character, David Hogg. I didn't really pay too much attention to this kid, mostly because it reminded me so much of the Iraq War when Cindy Sheehan was chosen to be the uncriticizable figure while criticizing the Iraq War. And it is really set up much the same way. We have somebody who has experienced terrible tragedy, legitimate terrible tragedy, who is sort of really set up to be uncriticizable due to the fact that they've experienced incredible tragedy. And, last I saw Cindy Sheehan, she was rubbing elbows with Hugo Chavez down in Venezuela, and we all know how that turned out in Venezuela. I see much the same future for Mr. David Hogg. I wasn't paying much attention to him at first, but the situation with Laura Ingraham got me thinking now it's a problem. And while I have maintained on this show that I've gone out of my way, this isn't a leafy video. I just didn't find David Hogg doing something cringy, and I'm going to goof on him for it. This is a situation where this guy, in one hand, is talking like you should take him seriously because of his experience, because of his intelligence. And at the same time, when he faces even minor criticism, he seeks to silence that criticism. That's the reason Donald Trump got elected, folks. And he does it through intimidation and wielding his... you can't say, I'm a grown-up, listen to me. I'm wise beyond my years. I'm just a kid. You can't say that. Let me go after your sponsors. Well, I don't have any sponsors other than Real Talk, and I don't think he's going to pull if David Hogg is going to get slightly upset. So it all starts out. Let me play the story out with this. A quick interview on TMZ. Let's see. That's too slow for me. All right, here we go. A quick interview on TMZ, kind of off the street interview. And this is what David had to say.
it's not been too great for me and some of the other members of the movement, like Ryan Deitch. We got rejected from we got rejected from UCLA, and I got rejected from UCLA and UCSD. So it's been kind of annoying having to deal with that and everything else that's been going on. But at this point, we're changing the world. We're too busy. Right now, it's too hard to focus on that.
It must be a little disappointing given that you had to go through this kind of trauma. You picked yourself up and you created a movement that has really resonated around the world.
It is absolutely disappointing. But at this point, we're already changing the world. If colleges want to support us in that, great. If they don't, doesn't matter. We're still going to change the world.
All right, he's 17, by the way. And Tobes, thanks for showing up, you asshole.
I'm sorry. I'm really, really sorry.
What happened? Tell me you got in a car accident. Tell me somebody died.
No. It's the daylight saving thing. I promise you. I thought it was at an hour from now. I am so sorry. I am so sorry, Tommy.
Soy boys are expendable. All right. Did you hear what David, this kid had to say?
On that video of
yes,
the...
Yes, let me tell you something. Be weary of people, not just David Hogg, that talk about saving the world. That's the way Scientologists talk. And it's just impossible to take anybody seriously to think that, I'm sorry, this didn't work out. But, we're too busy trying to save the world. We're changing the world. It's that kind of flowery language that really turns a lot of people's stomach, including myself. And it really shouldn't be taken seriously at any turn. It's ridiculous. So, Laura Ingraham, let me put the fucking screen on for you, douche. Laura Ingraham tweeted, David Hogg rejected by 4 colleges to which he applied and whines about it. Dinged by UCLA at a 4.1. It was actually 4.2. She made a mistake. GPA totally predictable considering acceptance rates. That's a fact, Jack. 4.1 is real good. But it's just that. It's good. It's not amazing. You're not getting Ivy League schools with a 4.1, period. It's not happening. Yeah. It simply isn't happening. I don't know what that has to do with the gun control. I don't know what had the gun control debates, but David Hogg is a verified account on Twitter. He is now an activist. He leads marches. He is open to the sort of criticism that any other adult would get. And this would be just like nothing if an adult was involved. So did David Hogg respond intelligently? Did he say, this had, as my great point out, it has absolutely nothing to do with the debate, nor does the fact that I've been rejected from several colleges. I'd like to hear your position on gun control. No, this was David's response. It was a child's response. And we're going to see that this is seen. These are Laura Ingram's sponsors. Silencer. Pick number 1 through 12. Contact the company. What? Because what? She stated a fact? She pointed out that you said you have been rejected? And the NRA, hate. NRA. Like, this is how good. I'm supposed to take you seriously? You can't even take a nip. You can't take a nip. Not at all. I mean, it's utterly ridiculous. Let's watch some scattered David Hogg interviews and things of that nature. Here we go. By the way, look, I respect your sexuality. Do not take a kid. Do not bring that up. In this particular situation, which is one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you beforehand. No cracks. He's 17. Okay.
I know. I'm aware.
Okay. No cracks on that end. He's 17.
Yeah.
Right? Now the fuckheads. I'm not going to tell you, but I can't control them. I can control you. Here we go.
Wouldn't make a difference in airplanes,
right.
but okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. No, it wouldn't. Here we go. David Hogg, the bad motherfucker.
They're pathetic fuckers that want to keep killing our children. They could have blood from children spattered all over their faces and they wouldn't take action because they'll still see those dollar signs.
Okay, everybody who disagrees with me is evil. That kind of makes this tweet that kind of makes this tweet make sense. Silence her. She pointed out something that I pointed out.
Like the Energizer. Yeah, I'm supplying them with electrolyzer.
$10 Ricochet. If you really want to bully Tubs, I would suggest contact 3 or 4 of these companies. Let's do that. That's ridiculous. It's unheard of. It's not how adults act. This guy criticized me, ruined her career. Why didn't you go back at her? Like, I don't know, like that has nothing to do with gun control. That has nothing to do with what I'm about. That has nothing to do. No, you didn't. Take her down. this is the reason Trump got elected.
Yeah.
She's a deplorable. Yeah.
Well, honestly, at the end of the day, he's a kid that went through a traumatic experience.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
And you know, I would point, you know, and I would be interested on how he felt during that situation. I don't necessarily want to listen to teenagers, if not for biological reasons, much less my own experience when I was his age, because I was every bit the asshole he was. Right? I don't see why I am forced to take him seriously because he's in a shooting. Nobody takes me seriously. Or no, I don't think that you should have an opinion on. I'm a big fan of the show. Finally managed to catch my live. Scott Top, thanks so much for the donation. I don't think I don't think I could shout an anti-war person down based on the fact that I'm a veteran. No more than David Hogg could shot somebody down based on a traumatic event. I don't see that. I don't see that at all. I see a guy who kind of has to put on a show of sorts to show how angry he is and label everybody that disagrees with him as inherently evil. I would say that somebody wants if kids' bloods were on their shirt, that they don't care because they want to sell guns, which doesn't even make any sense. I don't know if somebody would be comfortable with child's blood on them would be somebody worth talking to. And I think that's how David has presented himself. He's presented that anybody that disagrees with me. And by the way, this is not about the gun debate. I'm not going to bring the gun debate up. This is about silencing opposition via intimidation and victimization. And that's all David has managed to do. He hasn't changed the world. There's no laws that are going to be passed. This is all about him, because he's made it about him. And unfortunately, where I do feel bad for him, where I do have empathy, is he's being used by adults, and it's abundantly clear in this video.
Are you exhausted?
I'm beyond exhausted.
Is it energizing? This exhaustion, is it an energizing exhaustion?
Yeah, it's just as energizing as it is exhausting at this point. I get to a certain point where
it's fucking exhilarating. 2 months ago, no one gave a shit who you were. Don't undercut it, kid.
I get so tired that I just keep going. It creates a positive feedback loop in some ways, where the more stress and work that I put on me, the more work and stress that I can deal with.
Like, you guys are kids, and there are like adults that should be
doing.
Like, do you guys ever think like, why the fuck are we the ones who are doing this?
Well, at this point, it's like when your old ass parents, like, I don't know how to send an iMessage, and you're just like, give me the fucking phone, and you take it and you're like, okay, let me handle it, and you get it done in 1 second. Sadly, that's what we have to do with our government, because our parents don't know how to use a fucking democracy.
You know what? You know what? This is where it gets me, and I don't know if this is just putting on an act, because he does look so frail, so he has to use a lot of 4-letter words. But if that is honestly what he means, his parents have failed him miserably. Miserably. Because first of all, that's not the way you get the people on your side. Give me the fucking phone, you're too stupid. That's not going to convince anybody, David. You're just you're preaching to the choir. And I got to be honest with you, I don't know who your parents are. If I talked to my father that way, it'd been corrected. And rightfully so. That you sound like a spoiled, rotten, entitled brat. Know-it-all. Not somebody I should listen to. Give me the fucking phone. You talk to me that way? Sit down. That's all I would do. What do you think you fucking are? Oh, you use 4-letter words? Well, I can use them too. I mean, like to me, this is a child, and he's being used as a puppet. And by the way, I have personal experience with this shit. This is exactly what Keemstar tried to do with Aiden Projects. This is exactly what was done with Cindy Sheehan. And Cindy Sheehan changed nothing. And David Hogg has changed nothing. David Hogg has only managed to raise his personal profile. That's it. That is all that has come from this movement. There's been no changes. No one is taking him seriously. If there's any fear of him, it's fear like what Laura Ingraham might have experienced, that if you criticize this kid, if you point out a fact that only almost like verbatim, you got rejected from schools. That's a fact. You put those facts out there. She said, no shit, you have a 4.1. And she's a bully? And you talk like that, and I'm not supposed to think you're a bully? Give me the fucking phone. We got to take this away from our parents. Get the fuck out of here, man. Who do you think you are?
So we have to.
Fox News host Laura Ingraham is apologizing and now taking the next week off. as advertisers.
A huge mistake, by the way.
Abandoned her show. So far, about a dozen companies have pulled their ads after Ingraham attacked Parkland school shooting survivor David Hogg. Ingraham mocked Hogg's grades and the fact that he failed to get into 4 colleges despite having a 4.2 GPA.
Which isn't that much for UCLA.
When asked whether he accepts Ingram's apology,
Perhaps. I'm not gonna. Oh boy, I almost went there.
here's what Hogg had to say.
Shit.
She's only apologizing after a third of her advertisers pulled out. And I think it's really disgusting the fact that she basically tried promoting her show after apologizing to me.
David Hogg joins us now. So
now, in fairness, he certainly does not have to accept her apology. No way. He's under no obligation to accept her apology. And look at that fucking face.
She's under no obligation to give an apology.
No, I don't understand. Well, she is because her boss told her to. I don't like having these kids lead the march on gun control for the same reasons I don't want kids to run high-profile YouTube channels. That's kind of the connection I'm making. That is the exact connection I'm making. This kid is being used by powerful people. How do you do this? How do you do this? I mean, it's like, I watched this with these guys when I was going to high school. Right? And they were like, you're special. You have a special gift. You have this. And they acted like assholes. They walked into class late. They pretty much did what they want. They were able to hit people and not get suspended. They're called jocks. This is much the same way, but in a quasi-academic sense. And David Hogg is behaving accordingly, like a 17-year-old would. If I had the sunshine pumped up my ass, I might behave like a jackass myself. Only thing he's proved is he's an extremist. An uncompromisable extremist. We have plenty of them.
David, first, what surprised you more, Ingram's apology or the powerful response now from advertisers?
I think
he looks fucking. Yeah.
I wonder if I could do that. Hang on a second. That
looks intimidating as shit, to be honest.
I want to try something. Hold on. Let me look at the camera so I can do it. Good? Is it good?
No, you need to push your chin back. No, not like that, dickhead. No.
I'll get this. Well, I have a chin. That's the thing.
Grow a beard, child. Grow a beard. That chin's fucking pitiful, dude.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You can't be a public figure and expect not to get any sorts of criticism. And I like how he addresses her criticism.
I think what was more surprising to me wasn't the apology, because that was kind of expected, especially after so many of her advertisers dropped out. Like that was one of the things that just...
I honestly, they'll be back in a month.
...disturbed me most. There were multiple tweets in between her first tweet calling me out and then the other tweet where she basically tried apologizing.
She really didn't call you out. She didn't call your position out. She just pointed out, like, dude, no wonder you're not being accepted. Your grades aren't high enough.
There are multiple instances that she...
There's so many kids walking around with 4.1s and 2s. They're
honestly,
they're looking for 4.9s, 5.0s. That's who you're competing with.
Could have done an apology, but didn't. I'm glad.
And by the way, I couldn't score a 4.1 in anything. In fairness, I'm sure he's smarter than me as far as being able to learn faster, but he's certainly not more experienced, and he's definitely not an adult.
See corporate America standing with me and the other students of Parkland and everybody else, because when we work together, we can accomplish anything, and it's important to remember that.
What does that mean?
I don't fucking know. Neoliberalism is always the answer.
Yeah, no,
to
I know.
these
Like,
fuckers.
it doesn't even mean anything. Like, I'm surprised that she didn't. I'm surprised she did what she did. By the way, we can accomplish everything. It almost sounds like religious chant. We work together. We can accomplish. It's just an empty cliche. That's all it is. And that's what kids are full of, by the way. They just repeat empty cliches. David Hogg sounds like he's repeating talking points from the anti-gun guy, which, I mean, that's certainly fine. But I don't know if I should have to take it seriously. I don't think the fact that you survived this thing that I have to take you seriously. If anything, David Hogg has actually done everything to not take him seriously, question the role in his parents' life for him, allow him to behave this way, to call everybody else that disagrees with him evil, that they like blood, children's blood on their hands. And the lightest criticism, only response was a boycott.
What has been your biggest takeaway or lesson learned from this experience at this point?
I have power. He's acting like a megalomaniac. I don't think he is. I think if you put a child in this position, he would act accordingly.
Especially after a traumatic experience like Parkland.
Yeah.
take away from this is when somebody, no matter who somebody is, no matter how big or powerful they may seem, a bully is a bully, and it's important that you stand up to them.
All right, standing up to them is you didn't stand up to them. You rolled around the guard. You're trying to draw a red card, sweetheart. That's not standing up to them. That's appealing to authority. Come save me. Hey, people who like me, get her job gone. Quick. That's not standing up. That's pulling a victim card. That's rolling around like you're an Italian soccer player in the friggin' semifinals of the World Cup, trying to get a free kick. You didn't clash with her. You called foul. Foul. Ref, come in. That's not standing up. That's cowardness.
There have been multiple instances throughout Ingram's professional career where she's tried calling out people, for example, at Dartmouth University because of their sexual orientation, and she told LeBron James to shut up and dribble.
Oh, God, the book is called Shut Up. Yeah, you told LeBron James to shut up and dribble, and I'm sure we're going to go to racial. She also wrote a book called Shut Up and Sing. What do you think? Every person she told to shut up and then was black? And really, the crux of these books is that we shouldn't take celebrities seriously. They don't have the life experience to know what's good. I mean, God, things have just come to them. That's her message. Agree or disagree with it. She didn't say tell LeBron James to shut up because he was black, which I'm sure that's where you're going.
Any apology for those people. I mean,
they don't deserve one. It's called criticism.
Why? It's really sad. It's disturbing to know that somebody could bully so many people and just get away with it.
LeBron James is 6'7". He's 6'8". Are you kidding me? Bully? Is that is that what you've learned from this? That's here's what I think you've taken away from this. When I'm criticized, I am to say I'm being bullied, and I cannot. That avoids me addressing the argument. And she was so easy to take apart. All you had to do is fire back at her. Laura, that does not have anything to do with why I'm here and why people want to be a part of this movement. I go, you could have just said it's a red herring. There's nothing to do with anything. And you could have said, I wasn't crying. I was simply stating a fact that I haven't been accepted. I wasn't crying about it. You could have even said, you're misrepresenting the conversation. You're making me out to be a baby when I just stated a fact. That's it. You would have schooled her. No, you tried to silence her. Silence her via a boycott.
Especially to the level that she did. But I think now, with advertisers standing with us, we can accomplish anything.
I honestly, you want to know my take on this, Tommy?
And the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Praise Jesus. That's all I hear when you accomplish. Praise Jesus. Praise Jesus. Praise Jesus. Allah Akbar. Allah Akbar. That's all I hear. Because that's the kind of shit my grandmother was really, really serious, and she was going to praise the Lord, and she'd finish with that. That's it. We can accomplish anything. It's almost like you have to tell yourself. You haven't accomplished anything. Anything. There's been a bunch of wacky laws proposed. None of them are going anywhere as long as Trump's in office. They didn't change anything in Florida. You've accomplished nothing. Cindy Sheehan accomplished nothing. All Cindy Sheehan ever accomplishes is the media protected her, a lot like they're protecting you, from criticism because she lost her son in the Iraq War. That's cowardly. Okay. This guy, his name's Sam Cedar of the Majority Report, and this is sort of this is his take, but this is the average liberal's take on the whole thing.
So meanwhile, and we have sound basically, mostly about.
I'm using him as an example as a supporter.
About the really relentless project that the right seems to have when it comes to pushing back on high school students.
So a project. See, are they getting together to push back, or is it subconscious, or is it collective?
It is both amazing to see students get this involved in politics on such a intense level, and
there's nothing amazing about it. They're being pushed into it.
No. I don't think so, Tommy.
Oh, I do. There's been several reports around the United States, kids getting thrown out for not wanting to attend this, that, and the other thing. on both
Yeah,
ends.
yeah. And
You know? I think they're being used by adults, like this child is. You know.
See, I don't think David Hogg is being used at all. I think he's he is really passionate about this and wants to do it and wants gun reform and wants these things. He really wants it. And I don't mind him having a voice to speak. In fact, I would rather him speak than anything. I just put the blame on the adults that are organizing these things, that are putting this up. They need to set guidelines for children if they want to voice their political opinion.
Well, they set guidelines for children if you want to be if you're going to pass this off as this kid's a child and you really got to go easier on him, which by the way I can accept. But then he's telling people, like at the same time, him wielding this kind of political power and being back and telling the opposition that they like blood on their hands. Oh wait, you can't have it both ways.
Yes, but you can't. I don't think you should attack the child.
I don't think that's an attack. I mean, I think what Laura did was a little. It just like what Laura did was just like nothing to do with anything. It's just douchey at the end of the day. But to portray this like it's damaging to him in any other way, I'm sure they saw this and say, "Great, we can play a victim card."
As inspiring as I think all of us find it, apparently the right wing finds it terrifying. Ben Shapiro seems to have dedicated his entire online presence to making the case that David Hogg, one of the students from Parkland, has no right to be talking about.
Yeah, and that's a stone lie. And I there's no way that this guy watched the video and saw that. I watched the Shapiro video, and I think he states very earlier, there's certainly David Hogg has a right, but he also has a right to be criticized. At no time does Ben Shapiro actually make the case that he shouldn't be allowed to talk. He's making the case that he shouldn't be taken seriously based on his behavior, his age, and his actions. So, sir, you're either a liar or you're disingenuous, or you just didn't watch the video. There's no possible way you could come away with that. It's impossible. Yep. So now I can't take you seriously. Everybody is just so blown away by a bunch of kids. I'm not blown away by it. I'm disturbed by it. Because these are adults using a child so they can't be criticized. It's utterly disturbing in every manner.
About guns. Here is Ben Shapiro's. And for the life of me, I can't quite figure out. I mean, because Ben spends about 4 minutes of his 10-minute clip talking about how he is going to disassemble each factual mistake that David Hogg, and it ends up being just a media critique of.
Mr. Hogg is involved in using the media. And I mean, he's involved in his presentation. Yeah, of course. That's what Ben Shapiro does. He is critiquing this child, and you're essentially laying the groundwork that he's beyond reproach, and you were completely disingenuous about Ben saying that this guy shouldn't have an opinion. No, he said he shouldn't be taken seriously. See, that's how you do it. That's how you defeat the other side. What your side does is try to silence them via financial intimidation. And by the way, Fox News has backed off from this shit from Laura Ingraham. They put her back on because it's ridiculous. They made a huge mistake. You can't have some kid on fucking Twitter every time he gets criticized say, take this woman off the air. I mean, he basically said it in the last thing. I can't believe she's been allowed to do this for so long. Bully people for so long, suggesting that,
fascist-like behavior.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. The kid is not above reproach, especially with the position of power that he holds. And he never should have been put in this position to begin with. And one of the reasons I say that is because this is going to end, probably sooner than later. This is going to end really, really soon. And when it does end, when he does finally slip up, when people have had enough to be talking down to by a child with no experience, a child that repeats cliches almost like he's blessing himself. I'm for gun control, the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit. I mean, I don't take that seriously. I'm not going to take we can do anything if we stand together. We can do anything if we just paint our opposition as psychopathic maniacs. No, you just preaching to the choir. You've done nothing. You will do nothing. And when this train falls apart, and this is where your parents really let you down, there is going to be a psychological price to pay. That I could tell already that this young man is not equipped to handle. He is not equipped for this. And then if there's some consequence for that, it's going to be society's fault. They were so mean to him. The right was so mean to him. I am sick and fucking tired of anybody, either man, woman, of people stepping in the arena, putting their dukes up and say, come on, bring it. And then when they get punched, crying. This is the reason Donald Trump is president. It was a cultural change. They were tired of it. This type of SJW nonsense leaked out of our universities, and it was rejected. The only people you're speaking to are people that you're not convincing anyone. I mean, look at this. I didn't alter this picture other than the white outline.
Also,
disturbing.
why isn't I...
Like, who are you convincing? We call BS. That's what it says on his shirt. Like it sounds like a South Park episode. We call shenanigans. What does that mean? It's empty. And for adults that are not so blinded by their agenda, it's very transparent. So if you have somebody on the fence, and that's the type of people you have to convince to make gun control reform, they're just going to be like, you're creepy. It's not his fault, because he never should have been allowed to do this in the first place. And there's going to be a terrible consequence for this. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, he actually made the statements that he's against. By the way, the clear backpacks are a stupid idea. I would agree with them, but for different reasons. We can't tell kids that they can't wear what they want to
I'm supplying the wood like Elijah.
His time in spotlight ends when he turns 18 and he can't hide behind his age. Now, I don't believe that. I think he's going to be grandfathered into 17 for as long as this fucking lasts. For much traction. Although I think it might be over soon.
I don't think Logic saying the N fucking Ninja saying the N-word was an appropriate donation sound for this episode.
I don't care.
Also, why is the picture of David
we don't know
Hogg
if he said
right underneath my name?
What's that? I don't know.
Why is the picture of David Hogg?
I just he reminds me of you.
What?
Big dumb blowhard.
Why?
Big blowhard.
Like how am I a blowhard?
No, you're not. David Hogg reminds. If they put me in that position, I'd be the same way. But this is why you don't put kids. I mean, God, if this is on the other side, you're using a 17-year-old that was a victim as a means to get your agenda across. That's sick. It's disgusting. I heard people bitching about Mitt Romney because some family had filmed their kid. Why I'm voting for Mitt Romney, and he's sliding down a slide because he's gonna create jobs. He's gonna do this. And I remember all these lefties had a heart attack. This is no different. In fact, it's worse because he's beyond reproach. Lori Ingraham shouldn't apologize, and Fox should have told told everybody to go to hell. You want to pull out? Pull out. They'll come back. The amount of views, it's not going to change Lori Ingram's views or her ratings. They'll come crawling back. Johnson & Johnson, all these companies are fucking money whores. The only reason they pulled out is because they think they might get damage. They think you might be on the list. They put them on the list on Twitter. That's all. There's no argument you're winning here. It's simply via political intimidation. And you're spending political capital every time, and then it's going to run out. Now what? Now what?
It's kind of like Hannity's situation.
What's Hannity's situation?
Hannity, when the advertiser, I don't remember what he did, but the advertisers threatened to pull out.
And they did. And he dared them, if I'm not mistaken, right? He said, do it.
Yeah. No, he pulled out, took a week vacation, came back stronger than ever, better ratings, and more advertisers.
No. I mean, I think NRA memberships have went up. Gun sales have went up. You're the best gun salesman of the year. Because people know that adults are backing you. You haven't seen a camera you didn't like. And if you are their voice, nobody believes for a minute this is some kind of movement that came out of nowhere. It's being backed by adults, powerful people that have an anti-gun agenda. That's it. And if they know that your extreme views and your disdain for anybody that disagrees with you, there's very simply you are not. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I'm gonna piss a lot of people in the audience off. If you're 17, I can't take you seriously on anything. Anything. And I'll tell you why. Because, first of all, on hormones alone, you shouldn't be taken seriously. I could take teenagers seriously on things. All right, let's say this. They want to get good at Fortnite, right? And I know, let's say, what's his name? Confused Omen in waiting to call there. And he's got like 4 wins in a row. All right, I'm going to hear him out if he's a teenager. On nothing else. You have been provided for your entire life. You have never provided. You have no life experience. You're being pumped full of sunshine. And you've been taught to have disdain for anybody who disagrees with you. You are not worth listening to. No adult's worth listening to, much less a child with that idea.
I don't understand why you don't listen to them on the nuances of constitutional language.
Yeah, well, I mean, I just have to listen to somebody that says it's unconstitutional to tell kids they can't wear a clear backpack, but then I have no problem with going after people's Second Amendment rights. You're violating their First Amendment rights. Well, what about the Second? Is that less important? This is a man who said we need to use our white privilege to end these wars. I mean, Jesus Christ. And now I know he believes in fairy tales. And to be honest with you, the reason I think, although I don't know if I debate Alexis Jones' kids either. If he's anything like Alex, I wouldn't fucking debate Alex either, in fairness. But to be perfectly honest with you, that would be my challenge to you, is debate somebody your age. If he gets clobbered or throws a fit on stage, that's the end. And I think they know that.
Are you talking about Kyle Kushov or whatever?
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't matter who he debates. It doesn't matter.
It's better
somebody
if we
on
put
the other side.
and...
What do you can't sit there and go to the other side and just look at them and say, you like blood. I mean, you're going to get a couple claps in the audience, but you didn't win anything. It's just a show. You're not going to convince anybody of anything? Yeah, a lot of people want to do stuff about what's going on, and they say school shootings are out of fucking control. And I'm not going to even tell you where I stand on it. And I wouldn't say that you don't have a voice, but to be perfectly honest with you, there is nothing to take seriously from a guy who carries himself, and I'm not exaggerating here, like a dictator. That's how he carries himself, like a 60s radical. They didn't get anything done either. We didn't turn to a left-wing utopia. In fact, all those hippies became yuppies in the 80s. They were my parents. Go ahead.
Can I just bring up a point
Sure.
that a lot of the people on the right are bringing up?
Mm-hmm.
You know, David Hogg left a joke on Reddit. Have you heard of this?
Yeah, a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
so
it was
what's the joke?
like a Zika virus joke or something like that. Mosquitoes killing billions and things like that.
Yeah, so what?
And Paul Joseph Watson tweeted earlier that it should, just a reminder, David Hogg made a joke about mosquitoes killing people, billions. Exactly. Just because they abandon their principles, Mr. Watson, it doesn't mean we have to abandon ours. Just because they did something shitty doesn't mean we have to do the same shit.
I mean, that's legit. That's a character smear to me. Yeah. You know, that's just like an easier way to deal with that than ban Paul Joseph Watson. This is what the fuck is, when I said something stupid on the internet. Hey, wait a minute, Paul, you have a bunch of fucking videos defending goddamn Count Dankula, and you're gonna use that against me? He loses. Yeah. No! Strike his YouTube channel. All right, let's put the first caller in. Confused Omen, you're on the air.
Yo.
What up?
It's so crazy how everything connected to politics. It shouldn't be, but since why?
What? I'm gonna yell at the callers.
Like what I meant by everything fear tactics to politics.
Oh yeah.
Like the energizer. Yeah, I'm supplying the wood like
Thank you, Fang Sanchez.
$1.
Yeah, I mean this is that's all it is. It's just political intimidation. That's all it is. It's nothing special from a child who thinks.
I'm 18 and
that
I
isn't happening.
He's serious.
He's a delusional child. And I'm not saying I would be any better at 17. I was really passionate about, maybe Tobes is right. I'm wrong. I was really passionate about stuff. But you have all these people pumping sunshine of yours because you got the attention of the media. We're changing the world. It hasn't changed a fucking thing. The only thing you've done is become, you're a club. For a cult. You're a club for a fucking political agenda. That's it. That's all you are.
Not even a club, Tommy. A cult. That's what it is. It's become a cult. That Enough is Enough movement or whatever the fuck, that March for Our Lives, that's a cult. That's classic cult. They have classic cultish behavior. Look for our leader. Look to our leaders for salvation. The outsider is bad. All of these things are cult,
and they even bless themselves. They even bless themselves. And all the cults are saving the world.
Exactly. They think they're martyrs,
NRA
and that's dangerous.
Yeah, and it does go into something I've said too. Is like, I mean, look, I am an NRA supporter in the sense that that they are a lobby for the Second Amendment. I do not agree with everybody in that organization on absolutely everything. I think they are utterly ridiculous on certain things. But the opposition is every bit as crazy, if not more crazy, than they are. I mean, I hear people all the time on the left say, we have to do something about the NRA. What are you going to do? Anything you do to them would be a First Amendment violation. You're going to limit the amount of money people can donate? You're going to limit the amount of members they have? We're going to limit their influence. How? Well, one way you do it is start an anti-NRA organization, but you couldn't get it out off the ground because most Americans love their Constitution and they love the Second Amendment. Outside of the coastal areas, the Second Amendment is beloved. And you're certainly not going to convince anybody of any different from David Hogg, who comes off like I think this is forgivable, but he is a self-righteous brat that is behaving like a dictator, like a radical. He's creepy.
And when you
he's going to look back. If he doesn't look back at this in like 5 years and say, holy shit, what happened? And
yeah.
He's going to be off his fucking rocker. Like, holy shit. Like, oh, God, man, I wish I hadn't done that.
Yeah, especially the whole, like, child blood on their faces. Like, that's really for kids his age, like people around his age, and the people that want to push
that in debate. You couldn't even get away with that for the debate. You would look ridiculous. You can say that with creepy music in the background and looking tough at a camera. And it can have a certain way. And by the way, that video just got bombed, dislike bomb. Yeah. And I'm surprised they actually didn't turn the ratings off. And we see this before with the cursing campaign that those feminists put up. What the hell was that? Fuck hate. Remember that one? And that didn't work.
No.
It didn't change anything. Ban Bossy? That didn't change anything. If anything, it ignited the anti-IS. It helped. It was a weapon used for the anti-SJW crowd, which was pretty much handed off to Trump.
Anything radical is just not that good. Like, when you're radical on one side, the radical on the other side just
I think
hits
there's
right
a time for radical politics, but it usually involves guns. I mean, I think like a situation like the first Americans were in, then there is a time to pick up a gun. This ain't it. When you have a good, that's like serious oppression.
We're definitely nowhere close.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not close to that. I mean, he's behaving as if it is. Give me that phone. I'll smack you. My father would have kicked me in the face.
My dad would have killed me.
Jesus Christ. And I wonder, where are his parents? That is a legitimate question. Where are his parents? This is the way that kids behave when parents are absent. So there's two things going on. They're absent, or they're just so awestruck of their child getting attention by the media that they're not going to screw anything up. And they're not thinking about when this ride is over and where he goes from there. You think this is going to affect school? He's going to college, man. That freshman year is rough, and he's looking at some pretty tough schools to go to. And I'm sure he'll get into school. He's going to be fine. They didn't get into the schools he did get accepted to. Some of them were pretty nice. But he's not going to fucking... At least not because he's white. He's not with a 4.2. That's what I was going to say before that I didn't. He's not going. He's not going. Not unless, an Ivy League school just makes an exception. Maybe they will. But you're not on there.
They are looking for special needs students, Tom. I get it.
I don't think this guy's a special needs student. I think they're going to turn him into one. The depression that is coming when this goes away might be more than this child can handle. And I'm basing that on watching YouTube channels fall apart with younger people and how that affected them emotionally. And I do not want that for David Hogg. I don't want that for anybody. But I don't want, I find it just repulsive, especially this tactics being used against me, to hold up children as human shields for political debate. It's wrong. It's evil. That's evil to me. And cowardly. It's intellectual cowardice. All right, get out of here. I'm going to put that commie on. Kaiser the gay commie, you're on here.
Hey up now. I'm the gay replacement, so
You're the gay commie. Yes.
Yeah, I'm the replacement for him.
Okay. Yes.
No, just absolutely not, is it?
I definitely am.
Gay commie, go.
Okay, so you know the people like that, like the David Hoggs of the world. For me, they always want to pick a fight, even with people that are in their own minority groups. Like
we've seen that with SJWs.
Yeah. Like I remember we had one kid who like tried to call me homophobic, which was quite ironic.
Yeah, that's
because you get that usual kind of thing. But
like, you didn't agree with him. Let me guess. You didn't agree with him on something. Well, you must hate gay people. Well, actually,
it's just like, you know, and then he sometimes like accuses people of staring at him because he's gay, and it's just like gay isn't an ethnicity, so how would they know you're gay?
Well, it's definitely a victims group.
But I think a lot of these issues with like the guns in the US and such, I think it's mental health. The issue is no country has a proper dealing with it. Every country treats the mentally ill like crap. Like people go, you know how people like suck off Scandinavian countries and go, oh, they're dead progressive. They just fill their people with antidepressants. That's all they do.
I don't know what you're talking about. What are you crazy? They just fill their people. Oh, that's a shithole for other reasons.
Yes.
But, what you just feel? Is that what are you on Alex Jones? You're just giving drugs to everybody over there. Although you might be right, considering what's going on up there. Everybody's just kind of in a malaise.
Yeah, like
I thought you were a commie. I thought you'd be all for what's going on in Sweden.
Oh no, God, Sweden's capitalist still. Bourgeoisie's cucks. People seem to think, oh yeah, he's a commie, he's in pro-gun control. Even though Marx said he didn't want the working class disarmed. What happened to the good old days when they say changing the world meant a global anti-capitalist revolution? What happened to those days?
It didn't work, but you haven't figured that out yet. You're still waiting. You're still waiting for Jesus come back. Jesus come back.
No, we will bring it back, and we will
You're like my grandmother. You're like my dead grandmother. Okay. You know, we're gonna be here, and Christ is gonna come back, and he's gonna wipe away all his sins. That's what you're waiting for from your prophet Marx.
I'm gonna wipe away your American fridges, Tommy. I don't care how big they are. We will wipe them out.
Yeah, I know. By the way, they say I was talking to my dad about you. And he said that yeah, I did. He goes, you know, when he went to college in 1968. So he's like, Tom, we're going to get guys like you when the revolution comes. Well, guess what? They don't come. That didn't come, and you sell insurance. Congratulations.
What if you sell capitalist insurance, though? Then that's
I did, because he had to get a fucking job. You know, we used to have a saying when I was really into shows and in bands and stuff in the late 90s. Marxists always need a ride to the show.
Yeah, but if they do a hippie van, then it's all good.
No. They leech off others. I went to work. I was bourgeois. I worked in a car wash. I drove a cab. I did that. And guess what? I drove all the Marxists to the show.
Well, that's good. They're exploiting capitalism. They're exploiting.
No, they're not. They're dregs in society. They're dregs in society. I'm working for them.
You could have the means of production, that very vehicle, Tommy, and then you see you're just getting exploited by the ruling bourgeoisie class.
No, I was getting exploited by fucking people who think like you, that think somebody should provide for them instead of going out to provide for yourself.
Oh no, like in socialism, you see, we don't believe that. We believe that people who do have the proper means of producing even better materials, like projects and such, they would have more rights under socialism. We don't believe in the term everyone is equal. That means equal opportunity, not in the hippie liberal sense. Like if someone can say you.
That's not the way it's practiced, buddy.
It's still classed
It works in Catalonia.
like equality of outcome, not equality of opportunity.
It's just like, I think like.
There's nothing worse than like equality of outcome. There's like the other thing is like, let's say I was a mass producer and some communist government took over and I'd work my fucking ass off 16 hours a day, and now I'm going to be told I'm going to make this fucking top. This is the maximum you can make because everything else has got to go somewhere. You know what? I'm going to stop working. Fuck it.
No, like
fuck it. I'm not working 16 hours a day if I'm not going to see anything more. It goes. You know what the problem with your ideology is? This is the problem. Your ideology, actually, it's almost depends on humans being something other than human beings. That's why the Constitution works better, because it assumes that everybody's full of shit and everybody's out for themselves, and it just provides a fucking framework, a level. Your ideology implies that everybody think and feel the same. That's why it's always failed.
No, it don't. Socialism literally applies to the human nature argument, because under the socialist system, they get the proper resources they would want and need.
You should move to Venezuela.
Venezuela's still capitalist.
Oh yes, that's it. You're neither capitalist. It's not true communism.
I'm not using that. If you're going to send me to a communist country, send me to Korea.
Because, by the way, I've seen real victims of communism. Right, real victims. When I went to Schönebeck, Germany, real victims. I saw what it's like. If you were born before 1976, right? Before 1976, I noticed over there, dude, you couldn't even function in today's world.
Well, no, but then why do most people in Eastern Europe want it back?
No, they don't.
My brother in Lithuania wants it back. Everyone I knew from Poland wants it back.
Because he's probably a kid and he thinks he's getting something.
No, my brother's older than me.
He doesn't remember the oppression. He doesn't remember the murder. He doesn't remember the fucking bread lines. He doesn't remember any of that shit. All he sees is it's on a surface. I'm getting something for free. I'll go out and smoke weed and play Othello. You know?
The figures are lied about.
Yeah, here's the problem. You don't have a victory. Jesus Christ. No, you don't. No, you don't. Everything you have done has fell apart.
No, Catalonia didn't fall apart because of socialism.
Everything has fell apart. Everything has ended in murder. Everything has ended in death. Everything. Everything.
Wait, if you're going to say that communism killed people, then you can say that through capitalist exploitation, more people have died under it. Like any more than communism
if you look at the 19th century, more people died for your ideology than anything else, including religion.
No, because capitalism is still being global.
No. You got to get around this. You have three. Count them three. Holocausts on your on your watch between 1945 and 1989.
Well, capitalist seems to be even
You
more
have
whipping out
where are the Holocausts happening in France? Where are the Holocausts happening in Australia? In Canada? In the United States? Where are they happening? I'll tell you where they happened on your watch. In 1978, it happened in Cambodia. In the Ukraine, where they deliberately starved people.
Way more people than the 10 grillion people that were invented that we apparently killed.
They were invented? What do you like?
Yeah,
that's disgusting.
The figures are constantly exaggerated.
Exaggerated?
Somehow every death under Russia was communism. You see, women having a heart attack, that was communism. Let's look. Oh yeah, the famine, that was strictly by communism.
You could just look at the starvation.
The liberal capitalism would have stopped the famine.
You could look at the starvation in the Ukraine alone. And wipe out Pol Pot.
What happened after Stalin? There wasn't any more famines. After Mao, there wasn't any more famine. Surprisingly, there's one last famine. There wasn't any more after, was there?
There's a famine in Cambodia.
Russia went to a third world crap hole into a global superpower.
And that collapsed. That collapsed because they couldn't.
Under revisionists, people who wanted capitalism back. If we didn't pussy out of it, then it's
what was the solution? Do what they did in Tiananmen Square?
No, the Tiananmen Square was the protesters were socialists. They were against the revisionists. The current power.
But how were they dealt with? How were they dealt with? How were they dealt with?
By the revisionist means.
No. How were they dealt with? Literally, how were they dealt with? How were they dealt with? You can't say it because you're embarrassed.
Revisionists.
You can't. No. How were they dealt with? What literally happened to those? What happened to them? What happened to them?
They killed.
Exactly.
By the revisionists. That's my point. They were killed by the revisionists.
Yeah, it's just a circular fucking argument.
What a fucking shit show.
I generally like him, and I used to think
I do. He's cue the fucking Russian
sprayed them with bullets,
right now.
And that's everything that I watched growing up with these guys. Every time they go in Afghanistan in the 80s, to kind of milk them because you eventually run out of other people's money. They don't have a success story. They didn't put anybody on the fucking moon. They didn't put a car in everybody's house, and just about everybody's house in the United States. They didn't put a TV. They didn't invent the internet. They did nothing. And now it is a paradise for gangsters. He is a good guy, though. I've said enough of him. The General Crow, you're on the air.
Hey, Tommy.
How are you, sir?
Isaac, look, I would say that I'm going to be something controversial. If you get rid of the guns, less people would die, but no one's got a magic wand to get rid of them.
No, it's impossible.
I mean, the statistics talk for themselves. You're more likely to kill your kid, or your kid's more likely to kill you than you are to kill a burglar.
You guys just passed. I mean, in London, they just passed New York death rates with knives. And we have really strict gun laws. I mean, we have really strict gun laws in New York, but I mean, we had really strict gun laws in the 70s, and the murder rate was off the chain. You know, so I don't really know what the gun laws have to do with it. In fact, if you look at the United States and places like Texas, where all you have to do is look at a map. Oh, loose gun laws, less crime. Harder gun laws. I mean, even in Georgia, where they have really tough gun laws in Atlanta, and Georgia's a southern state. You don't have crime is not that bad in Georgia in general until you get to areas where they crack down on guns. It's amazing.
Mm. Yeah, but once you've got guns in a society, how do you get rid of them? That's really difficult.
You can't.
You start somewhere like the UK that never had very many of them to begin with. It's very easy to wipe them out.
I think there is a cultural aspect that I certainly, and I've said this before, that I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't know. Like, look, if you took Texas's gun laws, you take the safest place in Texas, right, and you transferred those gun laws, right, really low crime area that has really loose gun laws, and you transfer that to the UK tomorrow, I think it'd be a shootout in the streets, right?
Probably. English people get mad. They lose their temper.
UK gun laws that would completely violate the Second Amendment, I think you'd have a shootout in the streets. So I do think there's an aspect that is cultural. And remember, we are raised, and quite correctly, if we didn't have these, we couldn't have kicked the British out. And there's just that could never happen today. Then why do we send small arms to factions all around the world that are fighting our enemies?
I know. I mean, if you look at in America, in some respects, looks like it's got statistics from a war zone in some of your deprived areas, like in somewhere like Flint, Michigan, in somewhere like Detroit. You have crime figures that are off the scale. You know, they look like war zones.
Yeah, they do.
And if you didn't have the guns, it wouldn't be that bad.
I don't think so, because if you look at places like Detroit, if you look at the place in Detroit where these murders are happening, they're not being done with legal guns.
So no, they're not. That's my point. But the guns are about. It doesn't matter if the person knows it legally or not.
Yeah, you'd have to go door to door, which would be a bloodbath.
Yeah, exactly. It's the guns cause a additional problem, but you're never going to get rid of them now. You have them. That's too late.
There's 300 million Americans. There's 500 million guns supposedly laying around. What's 2.5 for every kid, every man, woman, and child? Is that right?
And also, I love the militia. I love the militia argument, and I understand it. But there is no way a militia of people armed with just handguns is ever going to take out a modern army.
No, I know, but that's not the case. That's why they don't want to ban assault rifles, buddy.
Yeah.
But I tell you something. With a handful of assault rifles coming down, and this is somebody that was on the other end of the army, I don't want to go up against civilians, because we did it in Iraq, by the way, with small arms. It doesn't matter. Look. It'd be just like Iraq, right? The odds are you're going to come up on top of the trained soldier, but bullets go through me like they go through a special forces guy the same way. And it's going to be difficult to do that, and it's difficult. Get this, because there's guns laying around. That makes it more difficult. The idea that you couldn't take out you have to ask: is the government willing to go door to door to do that?
Well, that doesn't even work. It never worked in Afghanistan. It didn't work in Iraq.
Here's the thing about the gun laws. And this is it at the end of the day. They are there to scare the shit out of our leaders. That's what they're there for. They're not for hunting. They're not for throwing out the British anymore. They're there to put the fear of God into our politicians. And I'll even go this far. This is my personal projection. I don't think something like Count Dankula could happen in the United States. And I think if you had too many of them, it would make politicians quake. You don't have that in the UK, so Count Dankula has a decent chance of going to jail.
I think that's disgusting what they're doing to him. It was so obviously a joke. If you've ever seen any program by a British comedian called Frankie Boyle, he says worse every show. He talks about raping children dressed up as Santa Claus.
Don't get caught in the red herring. The red herring is they're stupid. They know it was a joke. They were trying to punish people like us. They're trying to say, you fucking shit posters, we're going to put you in fucking jail. We don't let you like what you have to say. There is nothing about not getting the joke. Do you seriously believe they could look at that and didn't know it was a joke? Do you seriously they think that the Jews were under threat in Scotland because of that video? No, they didn't. They couldn't possibly. they might have believed stupidly that, somebody's offense is more important than somebody's free speech. Okay, I could grasp that. But don't take the Count Dankula thing any other way. The Count Dankula thing is very simply this. It is to tell people like you and me, you better shut up or you're going to be behind bars, bitch.
Oh, come on. It's such a backward country. They banned porn where the woman slaps the man or the man slaps the woman with a paddle.
Aren't you from that backward country?
Bastards. Absolute bastards.
I know. Anything where anyone wears a uniform, banned.
Klossel's crazy for that long.
That's why probably when he went to Thailand, right?
Yes, so he could slap around bitches.
Lady boys, Tommy. Lady boys.
I got one more call.
Good guy.
Thanks for the call. Thanks for the call, General. Did you see Smosh tweeted, liked one of your tweets?
Yeah, I did.
You're a celebrity. All right, get the fuck out of here. Talk to you later, buddy. I'll take this. Hoodie Moore, your last caller. Make it quick. I'm gonna get off.
Good guy. Thanks for the call. Thanks for the call. Did you see Smosh tweeted, liked one of your tweets?
Yeah, turn my shit off. You're pissing me off.
All right, get the fuck out of here. Talk to you later, buddy. I'll take this. Hoodie Moore, your last caller. Make it quick. Good guy.
Are you there? Are you there?
I am here. Sorry.
Okay, goodbye. By the way, I'm teaching fuckheads lessons. Favorite part. I'm teaching fuckheads lessons today. All right. Call back, try again tomorrow.
That rumble gave me an erection.
I love that. That's my favorite part. You got to be there. First of all, it's 10 o'clock. Call back tomorrow, Hoodie Moore. Don't do that again. Jesus Christ. Gives me a big fucking headache. No guns being blowing shit up. Make it louder? No. I deliberately made that ridiculously loud. On purpose. It's nice to see Stargazer back. I haven't seen him in a while. Oh, man. I don't know what else to say. Obviously no show tomorrow. Dave, Thursday. Look for... I'm going to start making videos in this channel. Like regular Ash videos. What do you think of that?
That would be fucking cool.
Yeah, cool.
What is it just commentary?
I don't know. I might do skits. I might do whatever makes me laugh. And then there's gonna also I'll probably upload a flashback. You know.
Can we have that arcade dweller character more often?
I'm gonna bring him back. I'm gonna bring him back.
Yeah. Fucking love him.
Well, that's if I make a video over there. I'll use him. I don't think I use him on this channel. Yeah. And stuff like that. Willie Mac show. We're gonna try to push this to Monday next week. So there'll be a show Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday next week. So we should have 4 shows next week. Sounds nice. 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I want to do this. Hey, you still there?
Yes.
Fuck you, you commie. Yes.
Fucking hell.
Nah, he's a nice kid.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll replace him with you. Replace him.
What?
So you can just yell at him for being a commie all day. Now, that would get old quick. That'd be like the Andy Worski show.
You yell at me for being gay.
I talk. You want to hear a funny story before I go?
Like the Energizer. Yeah, I'm supplying the wood like Elijah. These are spoken Indica, Monica,
donations. What did he write me? He wrote me something. Tommy, memes, love this. I love you too, bud. So Kumate's going after Monday, Matt, because I think they finally realized they burned so many bridges. They got to bring up the old victims back, right? Yeah. So I asked to speak to him, right? It's a phone call. He goes, "Can you call me? Give me on Discord, right?" And we're talking, right? And I'm like, Jesus, this fucking guy. I mean, I'm talking to him as like listening to one of his videos. He's like, his diction is perfect. He's well spoken, well thought, very quick. I'm like, like how does he do this? It was almost like being on a show, you know? So I look at my Twitter and it says, "Am I live?" And we already been talking for like 10 minutes already. I said, "Matt, I wouldn't do that to you." He's like, "Do what?" I was like, "You're not live. That'd be the shittiest thing in the world." He's like, "Yeah, but I got to be on my toes." I'm like, "I just want to talk to you. Say hello. Talk to you about this, I had some plans, for how to handle this whole fucking thing."
poor guy's just always automated at this point.
Yeah, and it's like, that's the thing. Yeah, I guess Worski tried to do that to me, so he's just got to be on his toes. He doesn't know me from fucking Adam.
Oh, shit.
He doesn't know me from Adam. So I mean, yeah, but it was like, dude, just be yourself. You're like, I said, he's like, but you sound like I was in your show. I was like, yeah, because I went into that mode. It's like, you're a fucking funny guy. You know? I'm like, yeah, it was. It was just surreal. It's like, I would never do that to you. I would never, ever do that to you. I was like, well, I thought your show was around now. I'm like, yeah, it's like in half an hour. Man. That would be like the shittiest thing to do in the world. I want a regular interview, you know? But, yeah, I like Matt.
Fuck, I'd love to see Matt on shows.
It's so funny. They're throwing money at him. They're throwing like $2,000 like it's a lot of money. Come on, I'll give you $2,000 after accusing him that he only does YouTube for the money. Well, if he takes the money, he already loses. Stupid.
Yeah.
And it's not that much money. And the thing is, to me, it looks like a sign of desperation from their side because guess what? No one's going on again. The only people you're going to get are flat earthers to argue with JF and people that believe in natural selection. Not natural selection.
Creationism.
Yeah, creationists. That's all. That's what you're left with because you burned every fucking bridge. Because anybody gets the better of you in an argument, you said, "Oh, by the way, here's your other enemy that's in the chat. He just happened to call in. Boom. And here's your other enemy in the chat. The word's out, dude. The word's out. It's over. It's over. So you're not going to get people like Mundane Matt on. And the other thing is, if you hate his views so much, make a video of him. If you know, like you're like you can't just do this. Like you're a pussy if you don't come on. Well, make a fucking video criticizing him instead of having the fucking dog pile and set him up. The news is in, Kumite. The news is in. It's 100% in. You're only doing this for cash. You talk differently online than you talk offline, and you're willing to set people up and trick them. Nobody serious is ever going to go on except maybe V. And my personal view, V will stop going on when he realizes he's sucked enough fucking fans from your site. That's what I think he's doing. Right, V?
I was just yes, of course. I am only here for the money. And because Sargon needs a plant in the blood sports community.
Exactly. So now you're basically to me like, oh, I'll give you money. Like that, you're begging now. And you have to go back to an old thing. If you don't like one of his videos, you think he did something wrong, make a fucking video. Go fucking suck Mediger's dick. Because now the word's out. The whole thing's a fucking work to get the results you want. It's a fix. Everybody knows. Now you're not going to get people like Monday Matt, and anybody that has more clout than him is never going to go on. And good. I'm glad. Bye-bye. So long. Farewell. I'm out of here. See y'all Thursday, Dead on Day, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. David Hogg.
This is the almighty infinite, independent excellence. Devil fighting, rebel titan, weed smoking alchemist. Fake identities, okay, you cool with Jason Bourne. Running with these Wolverines, okay, you bout to catch a storm. I ain't never been a liar, got tired of niggas playing me. Head in my legs like she bout to catch a pedigree. Chi-town to King's home, slapping fives, black stones, 6 mile to danger zones. Bullets look like waffle cones. Folk affiliated.
Oh, I got demonetized. What a shot.
Don't make me lead them eagles to
let me submit my thing for review.
Feel my struggle, I express it through my hip hop. I'm about to make it hard to breathe. Here's a headlock.
Ah, fuck. Now I can't do this, right? Because we got demonetized.
Cool.
Fuck you.